Welcome to Cooler Talk. Somehow we managed to break the internet and fix it again, and it's caught us by surprise. So, welcome to Cooler Talk. You're watching Rhonda and Cynthia. And I guess, yeah, we're a little flustered.
That's an understatement.
That was accidental. No, we're supposed to be on, and so here we are. And I guess our topic of today is what kind of person do you want to be?
Yes.
Do you want to get started, Rhonda?
No.
I have a thought.
Please.
I want to be the kind of person that doesn't get flustered when technical
Right.
difficulties are happening before you're about to go live. That can just kind of like swan in and just be cool as a cucumber no matter what. That's the kind of person I want to be. Any thoughts?
Oh. Oh, you changed the title to being flexible?
No. Well, I got the title, What Kind of Person Do You Want to Be? So, hence our technical difficulties, because that's what it used to be, being flexible when I came into this
Oh.
studio.
Well, let's see.
Crazy. Well, so I jotted down some notes on the topic of what kind of person do you want to be? And I just thought I would get in the zone and sort of have like some reflection about it. And, I'll just race through my words, but they were words like attentive, considerate, authentic, understanding, warm, at peace, conscientious, fun loving, and present. So it took me that many words to finally get to present. But that's I'd like to be, perfect.
Me too.
Yeah, whatever that means.
I'm fixing things. Please keep talking.
Oh gosh.
What kind of
Yeah,
person do you want to be, Cynthia?
unflappable. Unflappable, doesn't get flustered when there are technical difficulties. Definitely, yeah. I guess when I was thinking about those words, I was thinking about the qualities that I enjoy with some of the people that I really, really hold in high esteem. And so it was kind of a combination of like the best bits of those people. And it would be great if, I could embody all of those best bits of all of those cool people that I know. So that was really how I handled the exercise. But it did give me kind of food for thought, made me wonder like, am I saying those things because I don't see them as qualities in me? And I do think I hold those or aspects of those qualities or a certain amount, but I couldn't say like that my cup is completely full in the, I don't know, fun loving department, or in the attentive department. Sometimes I don't think I can be, I don't think I am as attentive as I would like to be. So in that respect, it was an interesting exercise. That's so funny.
Yeah. Well, I know basically the kind of person I want to be is I want to be a kind person. I want to be empathetic, but I don't want to be a doormat. That means I don't
Gosh,
want
no.
people walking all over me just because I'm trying being a nice person.
Yeah.
I used to be very gullible. That got me in more trouble than I care to shake my fist at. Um, but fortunately, I was able to learn the lesson sooner or later, um, and uh, learn how to be tougher, if you will, learn how to set boundaries,
Mhm.
and realize that I mean, I used to be a terrible people pleaser.
Mm.
I was taught to be nice to everybody, and but being nice, polite, and courteous to everybody um, doesn't mean you have to be courted to them, if you will.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just common courtesy. And as long as it's genuine, you know what I mean? We can be, even if it's someone we don't like or that just pushes all of our buttons, we can pause for a second and say, okay, this isn't about me. I don't need to take this personally, um, and um, and just move on.
Mhm.
Uh, that people are people. They are everybody goes through life uh, with their own perceptions, and I've learned now that anything that triggers me or gets me feeling really really anxious
Mhm.
or riled up just means I have an issue I haven't dealt with yet, haven't learned to process yet. So it's really that simple. Um, and and I want to be around people who are kind, considerate, um, non-judgmental. I think I
Mhm.
talked about this last week. The judgmentalism is just rampant out there in humanity, and for what?
Yeah.
For what? Why? What? For what? What do
Yeah.
you get out of it? To
Yeah.
feel important or to feel big? Well, guess what? Um, that's just a great way to isolate people from you.
Yeah.
And um, and I watched this series. Just finished watching this series, Manifest. It's a
Oh.
Netflix series. It was really kind of agitating me early on. There were only 4 seasons, but there was the evil character in the movie was this woman that completely denied her part in any kind of situation. I mean, she even murdered someone, but had excuses for why she did it. And in the end, she was disintegrated when the apocalypse hit, and she just kind of disintegrated, and all the good people were not disintegrated. So that's it in a nutshell. But leading up to it, that were all of these messages and connections, going back into time and going into history and all these other cultures, and they were putting connection together, and they finally realized that what they were dealing with was divine energy. And these people, what happened was they were on this plane flight. They were on this plane flight, and the plane disappeared for 5 years, and they all reappeared. Um, and somewhere in there, they figured out that they were came back for redemption purposes, and that they had all this cleaning up to do and things to make right in the world. So they were, they were calling them their callings. They were extremely ostracized and punished and tortured for this. But they never faltered from their goal that they were there to help people. They were there to make things right. And each individual's calling came up, and they were able to rescue people who were in trouble.
Mm.
Um, and then you had this evil character. You always have to have an evil character. And she was the absolute opposite. Then she was starting to make a long story short. I hope I am. She was got to the point where people were to worship her. They were to go outside of themselves and worship her and follow her. And she promised them redemption, that they were going to be the surviving 11 out of the whole world, like apocalypse. And in the end, those were the 11 people that got disintegrated. And it was all because they had um, no regrets for the wrongs they had done in the world,
Mm.
and all the people. So when the calling started, it was the day before the world was to end. So it was, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm paying attention to the sub storyline here. There was an underlying message to this whole thing. And some of the stuff, it was just like, how can some of these people be so stupid making these decisions, wrong decisions over and over and over again?
Mm.
And the one bad character ended up finding out, having a moment of truth, and he was saved at the last minute because his buddy was going to disintegrate, and he he said, no, 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 he's the good one, take me.
Hmm.
And then he was redeemed because he, at the last minute, had a soul change, if you will. So it was a 4 years of Netflix. It was a 4 year series, and you had to kind of follow it. Some of it got frustrating because it was like, can't you see? Can't you see? So I'm glad I watched it to the end. I almost didn't,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm like, oh, I only have 3 more episodes to go, and I'm up till 1 o'clock, 1:30 this morning. I have to watch this last episode. It's the last one. I need to see what's going to happen. And so, uh, you know, we're all going to go through life making mistakes and actually doing wrongs to people,
Hmm.
sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. Sometimes we're deluding ourselves into believing certain things
For
which
sure.
are so out of touch with reality, it's not even funny.
For sure.
And when I look over my many years of life now, I I look back and I'm there, wow, life is a process.
Yes, it
It
is.
is a process.
Yes.
And you always have free will in there. You always have the choice of which way you want to go. Do you want to hurt people or do you want to help people? Um, and so I'm glad I watched it to the end because it was a really feel good ending, but you couldn't help but feel sad for the people that were closed minded, set in their ways, not able to see things for what they were. There was so much cruelty, and I'm like, oh my God. All I was just connecting it to all these life events that have been happening over the last 5 years. So I know there was an underlying message in there, a lot of messages. And, if you have faith and believe, um, it's like, yeah, the evil people are going to go away eventually.
Right.
It's just the way it has to be, because all this chaos and crazy stuff, that total chaos that's going on out there, you don't even know what's true and what isn't true anymore. So you have to go within yourself and just,
Yeah.
okay, take a deep breath. You can't control any of this stuff.
Nope.
So just try to walk through it and not let it affect you. Um, and then there's this human renaissance, and there have been huge, huge spikes in the Earth's frequency the last couple of weeks. I mean, huge,
Mm.
gigantic ones. In fact, one went up to like 120, which hasn't ever, I don't think it's ever been seen before. And it's all this white light.
Mm.
So, you just interpret it the best you can and try to find resources to help explain what's going on. But it's simply measuring the Earth's frequency, and then you look at world events, and there are some connections there if you take the time to look.
Hmm.
So, what kind of person do you want to be? Like that movie I was watching, Manifest. Um, and it wasn't about manifestation, really. It was about the manifest of the passengers on this airplane.
Plain. Yeah. I actually did start to watch that show a couple months ago, maybe nearly a
Mm,
year ago, maybe like 3 or 4 episodes, and I could, I mean, I got some of the ideas, some people had their calling, and some people just sort of like slipped back into, I guess like a more chaotic
yeah.
version of their
Well,
lives.
go ahead and fast forward to the fourth year and
Okay.
watch those episodes.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been obsessed with watching this, and I'm like, oh my god, they're just teaser after teaser after
Uh-huh.
teaser, and I'm going, this is just too much. They need to get to the point.
And maybe like some of the point is though that like you were saying, it is a process, it is a journey, and
Yeah,
like it's sometimes you do feel like you're like the only nice person walking through the Times Square of like crazy evil mean people. But
well, sure it does.
huh.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah, and then I guess like the learning there is that it's supposed to like heighten your awareness, heighten your
Yeah,
consciousness and make you kind of reflect for a moment. Okay, what kind of person do I want to be? Because I know what kind of person I don't want to be. I don't want to be like him or her or this one or that
right.
one.
And that does guide us to the kind of person we want to be.
Yeah,
We don't dwell on it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Being
I have
aggravated to
this.
your exaltation.
Oh my god. I have this gratitude book, and I'm kind of prejudiced because of the person that gave it to me.
Hmm.
Um, but the first few years, every time I encountered these two people, I'm writing in my gratitude book, "Thank you for me not being like them."
Oh.
And there's so much hypocrisy out there, um, and people aren't even aware they're doing it. You have
No.
to, yeah, I really feel that you have to have some inner drive to change, and maybe not know exactly what needs changing,
Yeah.
but you know that life can be better than what it is, especially inside here.
Hmm.
And those nonstop recordings that can go up in the head can drive yourself nuts until
Yes.
you learn how to turn that off.
Yes.
Um, and it's a difficult process because it's they're like tapes embedded in there, like an embedded video in your head.
Hmm.
And my one brother, he was caught up in that whirlwind. He couldn't get out of it, and
Hmm.
same. It was just like same thing, different day.
Yep.
Um, and and then in my another brother, it's his mantra is, why does this happen to me? Why do I have to be the one?
Right.
And I keep my mouth shut because I'm thinking, because you haven't learned your lesson yet.
Yep. Yep.
Haven't learned the lesson yet.
Totally.
Um, and but I keep quiet because people don't want to hear that, unless you want to hear it. You know
Right.
what I mean? So there are so many recovery programs out there. There's codependency recovery is a huge one. And you can go to these meetings and stuff, but the program has to depend on responsible people being involved in those meetings
Hmm.
and helping keep things on track.
Hmm.
But once you want, I had a little quote, and I think it's on my phone. Let's say, and this really, sometimes these posts people put up, they just kind of like, yeah, that's exactly what I've been thinking. And let's see if I can get that up here. Uh, all my passwords. Great.
Sounds like
Okay,
the
here we go.
timing was
And
right.
this quote, yeah, I have two. One of them I posted said, if you knew how hard it was and how long it took to rebuild my little universe of peace and happiness, then you would understand why I'm so picky about who I allow in my life. I don't know who the author was
You
of that,
gotta
but they,
drop that quote right in the
oh
comments
my
because
God.
I'm gonna snatch that
Yeah.
up.
Author unknown.
Yeah,
I'll type that in right now.
I
If you,
appreciate that.
how hard it was, how long.
Gosh, that's a good one. I mean, because I can hear one talking about that easily when it comes to their career or their craft, like someone who's in medicine or whatever. And it's like, and it's true. The same applies to your life. And so at some point you do want to like take out the trash and keep it out.
Yeah, yeah. I still remember. I have a relative. I shouldn't be too specific because I don't know. They'll know who they are, and whatever. The truth is the truth. That said, I have no respect for you, no respect for you at all. And what he was trying to do was manipulate me into doing or behaving in a way he wanted me to.
Hmm.
But I was standing up for myself and I was setting my boundaries. So he was trying to bring me down.
Yeah.
And I wasn't falling for it.
Good.
I could have said a few words. I just said, yeah, you can believe whatever you want to do. And there are just some people that want to trigger you into an argument, and I
Hmm.
wasn't buying into it.
Hmm.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not like that. You
Yeah.
you want to argue? Go argue with yourself. I don't have time for this.
Right.
It's what goes through my head. But that was one of the quotes. I don't know who said that, but boy, oh boy. Um, then the other one. Let's see if I have that
That is so
quickly. I thought
good.
Oh,
I'm gonna take a picture
man,
of it.
I'm like, yeah, all the critics out there, you want to be judgmental of other people. You haven't even walked in their shoes. You're totally clueless about what experience and perceptions they've had in their life, which has nothing to do with you whatsoever. And
Hmm.
you got to stand there and try to put them down just to make yourself feel better. I don't think so.
Yeah.
People, you gotta walk away from people like that. They're
Yeah.
not worth arguing with. That's very negative energy.
And
You don't need it. None of us needs it.
none of us needs
And
it. And the cool thing is, like we were saying earlier, is that when you know that and you identify like I don't want to be like that, you
that's right.
can completely turn around and in that moment decide that's not the kind of person I want to be. That is not the
And
kind of
here's
person
the
I want to be.
that's right. And this one I love.
Can't wait. I'm going to take a
Um,
picture of that one too.
and this is Jacques Fresco. If you think we can't change the world, it just means you're not one of those that will.
Mm. All right. Pop it in there. But that's a good
I
one.
am.
That's a good one. Well, I think with that, there we go. Love it.
And this from it came from what's called collective evolution.
Yeah.
So
Tis
so
the
there you
top of
go,
the hour.
folks. Yeah, it's the top of the hour, and obviously this is a topic I'm very passionate about. Because Who do you want to be?
Who do you
Don't
want to
be one
be?
of those people that thinks being negative back to a negative person is going to create something positive. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
What will create positivity is just not arguing with that person, acknowledging that they can believe whatever they want to believe. You can state you disagree and then find a way to walk away.
Mhm. Mhm.
Healthy people will do that.
Yeah.
The emotionally intelligent people will do that.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then there's some work to do. But I'm going to
That's
tell you,
okay.
I guarantee you, if you do the work that's necessary to get that negativity out of your life and don't feel like you're courted or bonded to people that are cruel and inconsiderate, you're going to see, you are going to experience life like you never thought you could. It would be like what you always felt down deep, the way you wanted life to be. But
Mhm.
you have to empower yourself and learn how to, like the superheroes do, you know, let that crap just, just
Deflect. Yeah.
yes, deflect. And that's
Yeah.
all I have to say for today.
Well, that was Rhonda on fire on Cooler Talk with Rhonda and Cynthia. So we'll see y'all next week and hopefully sans technical difficulties.
Yes, we were really having them. Take care, everybody. Have a blessed, beautiful day.